Thank you for clicking on Weather for Weather Geeks. It's Thursday afternoon, and we're heading towards a big warm-up at the start of the weekend. But boy, of course, it's been cold lately. You're looking at a high-resolution satellite picture of Lake Erie from yesterday, and the lake has picked up a tremendous amount of ice over the last several days. Kind of get your bearings here. The western end of the lake is over here, Cleveland in through here, and then you get over into Erie, Pennsylvania over here. And boy, good chunk of the lake now is ice covered. The western end of the lake is the shallow end, so it always ices over first. But even in the deeper parts of the lake now, it is freezing over. And speaking of ice, well, in local rivers and streams and creeks, we've got ice, of course, in a lot of places. And with the big warm-up coming on Saturday, we are a little concerned about some ice jam flooding. The ice will start to break up a little bit, and especially where rivers bend a bit, it can kind of congregate all in one spot and lead to some flooding issues. Sometimes that happens in the spring as winter gives way to spring and we start to consistently get warmer. But this time around, it's in the middle of winter, but we've got a 50-degree day possibly coming up on Saturday. So that's something to keep in mind if you live near the Mahoning River or any kind of major or semi-major river or stream. So we've got that to look forward to this weekend. In the shorter term, here's what the weather map looks like on this Thursday afternoon. I'll put up the pressure analysis here. We'll zoom out, and what we have going on today is an area of high pressure over upstate New York. And we've got a little weak low-pressure system down in here, and this is what's going to bring us some inclement weather tonight. The leading edge of precipitation is some light snow that's pushed into Chicago, parts of Indiana, parts of western Ohio, northeast Ohio, western PA. We actually had a fair amount of sun so far today. It's been a decent day. The glaciers that are out in the parking lots have started to melt a little bit. I know I, for the first time in several days, did not almost slip and fall on my way into work today, so that was a welcome thing. We've got some warmer air down here where the precipitation is kind of a mixed bag. Tennessee into Kentucky. We are concerned about, as this comes north, not only do we get enough snow to cause slick spots tonight, but we have the possibility of a little freezing drizzle mixed in towards the end of the night tonight. So we'll talk about that a little more in just a second. Focusing on temperatures, you'll notice a lack of real harsh cold across the country today. We've got temperatures in the single digits, lower teens up here, which for them, hey, that's a bargain. It was way below zero, of course, not long ago. And yeah, it's cool, but nothing real harsh across the southern two-thirds of the country today. I think some colder air will get back into the pattern on a couple of occasions over the next week, but we're not looking at any consistent, big-time cold snaps anytime real soon, so that's a good thing. All right, let's talk about the future. I'm going to plot up what the radar should look like by this evening. We will zoom back into the local area here. That leading edge of snow that I just showed you on the current radar may begin to impact us this evening as early as maybe 6 or 7. It's going to be real light, though. So this, I don't think is a real big deal. So that's around 6 or 7 this evening. As we head towards midnight tonight and 1 a.m., a somewhat steadier, perhaps beefier area of precipitation will be in through here. And this is when I think some of the snow is going to start really accumulating. It'll be real late this evening, heading into the overnight, past midnight. And thankfully, this is a quick hitter, but despite it being a quick hitter, it's kind of a potent little system. So here's what the future radar holds at about 4 a.m. This, at this point, could be some moderate snow with perhaps a little freezing drizzle trying to mix in. So this is right before the buses are going to start running tomorrow morning. And, while this isn't going to be the biggest storm in the world, the timing on it, you get a quick thump of snow late tonight, possibly some freezing drizzle. The timing suggests that we could be dealing with some 2-hour school delays tomorrow morning because of the timing of all of this occurring very late at night. Here's the future radar tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., and this is when we'll just be left with some spotty drizzle, perhaps freezing drizzle right at daybreak. Temperatures should rise above freezing, though, by 8, 9, 10 tomorrow morning, and that means any little pockets of drizzle that occur will not freeze. It'll be above freezing, so we should be in much better shape by midday on Friday. So how much snow are we talking about in the short term? We've kind of honed in our forecast on about an inch, maybe even an inch and a half in some spots. Here's the short-range ensemble model plot. Again, complicated looking, maybe a little hard to read, but I'll try my best to explain it if you're kind of new to this video. Basically, this is a computer model that they run 22 different times. And each time they run it, they tweak the initial weather conditions in the model. So they tweak the temperature, the humidity, the pressure, et cetera, et cetera. And what you get by that is a range of solutions. At the end of the model run, you see what those little tweaks did. Sometimes tweaking the weather conditions a little bit will result in a vastly different outcome 24, 48 hours in the future. Sometimes it doesn't result in a vastly different outcome. And each one of these lines here represents a different run of that same model with, again, slightly different conditions each time. You got a couple of outliers up here suggesting we get 2 or 3 inches of snow, but the average or the mean on this particular model is right around 1 inch, the 1 inch line right here. And so that gives us a pretty high confidence in tonight's forecast that a lot of the valley, not everyone, but a lot of the valley, is going to get about 1 inch of snow, maybe a little more than that overnight tonight. Again, watch for a little freezing drizzle as well. Again, nothing more than patchy drizzle, no frozen precipitation for the midday and the afternoon Friday. And then we got a slug of rain heading our way at the start of the weekend. Now, this looks faster and faster as we have gone through the last couple of days. The computer models continue to speed up this system. So I suspect what we're going to do for Saturday is restrict the chance of rain now to the morning, and by the afternoon, by lunchtime, from west to east, I do think we're going to dry things out. So we got a rainy morning on Saturday. West to east, we're going to dry it out in the afternoon. We've got a little slug of colder air coming in behind that system for Sunday, so while we'll be close to 50 perhaps on Saturday, be much more typical of January on Sunday. It looks like a quiet day. Maybe there's a flurry early. Here's the weather map Sunday afternoon. Nothing going on. Then early next week, another quick little mover comes through, maybe late Monday night. Maybe there's a touch of rain and snow with that. Doesn't look like a big deal. Maybe we get another little system on Tuesday. So the bottom line for next week is occasionally we're going to be visited by these fast-moving little systems that might give us a small accumulation of snow on a couple of occasions, but I don't see any blockbuster storms heading our way over the next week. No big snowstorms, no big ice events, no big cold snaps either. So we're kind of back to the humdrum kind of middle of winter kind of pattern here where it's fairly uneventful. And considering how busy it's been in the weather department so far this winter, hey, an uneventful week, certainly something I welcome. Here's the long-range temperature outlook real quick. This covers the 7 to 14-day period from the 16th through the 23rd of the month, so basically straddling the middle of January. And looks pretty warm compared to average in much of the western plains. Has us a little below average overall for that 7-day period. When you average together the 7 days, we might be just a little below average. All right, that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Thursday. As always, you can catch my forecast tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11. Jess has you covered Friday morning on WFMJ today. Have a great one.